Messi's journey from Rosario to Barcelona. From the dank streets of Rosario to the grandest stages of football, this is the story of 36-year-old Messi, an unforgettable example that dreams can indeed become a reality. You won't believe that this maestro, this virtuoso, who has orchestrated symphonies of success with every touch and every pass, was once a common man like you and me. But he stands, yes, we are talking about a guy who was once diagnosed with growth hormone deficiency, but now he stands out. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and keep your eyes on the screen. This is the story of the GOAT, Lionel Messi, who was born in Rosario, Argentina on June 24, 1987. He was brought up in an impoverished atmosphere, but picked up an early interest in football. Both his mother's and father's families were Italian, and they had emigrated to Argentina after World War II. Back in Italy, the country was in disarray, and life was becoming increasingly difficult for the average citizen. Messi's paternal great-grandmother was an immigrant from another European country, Catalonia. When she fled, she had no idea that her grandchild would one day become the most recognizable figure in Catalonia and the ruler of Barcelona. Picture this, you're a teenager in the late 1980s in a country like Argentina. You have been subject to intense peer pressure and adoration of the beautiful game. At the time, they were experiencing the grand old days, with Maradona still active. But Messi did not only adore the game, he wore it. In fact, Maradona's record-breaking goal-scoring year also occurred to be Messi's birth year. Messi's family also had a great interest and expertise in playing football. He was obligated to play with his siblings whenever he was in the same room as them, and being the youngest of 3 siblings who all tried out for football, he never felt out of place. When Messi was 4 years old, Grandoli took him to a pitch near his home so he could play football by himself, at the training sessions at a local park where a club trained. Several times, Messi kicked the ball and made an impression on the club president Salvador Aparicio, and the player hastily slammed the ball into a wall. Now here's the thing, Messi was welcome to play in the team, but at first, Messi's attempt didn't go as smoothly as hoped. He was too small to play football, and his mother always said, no. But when Great Granny saw him playing, she said, come on, let him play, it won't do him any harm. And that was the particular instant when Messi's life was irrevocably altered. Messi began his professional career at the age of 5 with Grandoli, where his father acted as coach before moving on to Newell's Old Boys. It was almost unfair how much better he was than the other kids when he started playing, and everyone was shocked. In an interview, Salvador recalled how amazing it was to see him play. Believe me, he already did all the incredible things, the same kinds of things he performs now, except that the ball was as high as his knees. Because he never seemed to put on much height, we were concerned, but everyone agreed on his excellence, and everyone knew that our hands were holding the next Maradona. It was so obvious and widely known that it's something he's born with. Even during school recess, educators were on high alert. He was so marvelous that children would fight to the death for the privilege of having Messi on their team. The kids on the opposing team's youth teams always stayed behind to see him play and perform an act while juggling the ball and other objects. You can imagine that Grandoli couldn't keep Messi a secret for very long. In just over 2 years, he had already begun to make changes. Newell's Old Boys was the most successful club in Rosario, and its youth program had supplied more players to the Argentine national team than any other country, and Messi was a die-hard supporter, who received one of their jerseys as his first birthday present. As Leo finished his final season at Grandoli, Maradona had started playing for Newell's, and of course Messi had made their move to Boca Juniors. Messi had also signed up with the team. They won 6-0 in Messi's first game for the team when he was only 6 years old. In any case, he was probably just setting the tone for what would eventually become known as La Máquina del 87 by this young club. Newell's didn't appear satisfied with only having a young Lionel Messi on their roster. This team also had a slew of other young performers. Early on, their greatness was widely recognized. It was impossible for any group to stand a chance against them. By the time they were 11, after playing 7-a-side for 3 years, they were unbeatable. Years without ever being in danger of losing. Messi has been the driving force behind all of this. No one in his family, not even his dad, was more of a football expert than him. His grandmother Celia was the one who showed him the ropes and seemed like an incredible human being. She was the first person to really push him to pick up a football and start rolling the bat in the air. So one thing that we could say so surely is that it was his grandmother, that with a ball at his feet, Messi weaves dreams into reality. It is because of that lady, and then Barca, that he weaves the pitch into a canvas where his artistry paints a masterpiece every match. But now another challenge was waiting for him. For Messi, the year between the ages of 10 and 11 was the most difficult of his boyhood. First, his grandmother Celia died, a loss that he has said still affects him to this day. He felt there was nothing about her that could adequately represent her significance to him. Picture this: as a young child, you probably experienced a roller coaster of experiences and emotions. Another hard blow landed on Messi's head. An endocrinologist had been keeping tabs on Leo since the club's council during the past 12 months, and this is how at the age of 11, he was diagnosed with a growth hormone shortage that required costly therapy, while showing all the indicators of having a great football career ahead of him. As Messi approached his 13th birthday, a man named Carlos Recach arrived from Brazil from Barcelona. Recach played 328 games for FC Barcelona between 1965 and 1981, during which time he won the Cup Winners' Cup and was the league's all-time leading scorer. And working together as an attacking duo and as Johan Cruyff's assistant coach, Carlos, who had been a scout for many years, was now well into retirement. In Brazil, an Argentine agent called and said, "You have to come see this kid right now." In terms of sheer skill, the agent was interested, so he asked how old the child was. He concluded that he had to be at least 18 years old. The star boy's younger age probably came as a surprise to him, and then he asked, "Why are mature guys so impressed with such a small boy's skills?" And Carlos, then impressed, told the agent to arrange a trip to Barcelona so that they could put the child through his paces in the field. As you may expect, Messi's loved ones back in Rosario were overjoyed to hear the news, especially given that a major club like Barcelona would undoubtedly be able to assist Messi with his medical expenses, even though they could not afford it. His parents opted to relocate to Spain after receiving some early recognition of Messi's talent from Barcelona. After Messi's tryout with Barcelona, the club decided to cover his medical bills. Messi's meteoric rise from the club's youth system to the top has paid huge dividends for Barca. When he was 17, he made the first team, and the next year he became a full-fledged international. Even in a Barcelona team with superstars like Ronaldinho and Sam Eto'o, he still managed to shine. Unfortunately, a thigh injury cut short his season before Barca's UEFA Champions League run came to a satisfying conclusion. But he didn't stop there, because Messi's name was pre-decided to be written in gilded letters on the walls of football immortality, as a sign of unwavering commitment and unparalleled genius. After missing the first 3 months of the next season due to a broken metatarsal, he finally blossomed in the second half of 2006-07. He scored 11 goals in Barca's final 13 games of the season, and became the youngest player in Barca history to score a hat-trick in El Clásico, a match between Barca and its biggest rival, Real Madrid. And this is from where he rocks in the ground. He falls and stands and ultimately shines out. That's it for today's video. Subscribe for more of such inspiring videos.